months ago was throwing for touchdowns as the star quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, now has thrown himself before the mercy of a federal court, admitting in court papers to dogfighting. The one-count plea to be entered by Vick in Richmond, Virginia, Monday, charges Vick with conspiracy, a charge that could bring as much as a 5-year prison term. Responding to a possible plea deal earlier this week, one of Vick's defense attorneys indicated the agile quarterback couldn't run from his past.
He's accepting responsibilities for those charges, and he's trying to put the pieces of his life back together, and ask that you pray for him and forgive him for any wrongdoings that he may have been involved in.
3 co-defendants have already pleaded guilty, and all 3 gave graphic details about how Michael Vick's Virginia property was the headquarters of Bad News Kennels, that dogs were raised there to fight, that Vick not only financed the operation, but took part in gambling, and that Michael Vick personally killed underperforming dogs by drowning and electrocution. In his plea agreement today, Vick's lawyers appeared to be trying to minimize the damage, specifically saying while Vick financed the operation, even put up money for purses, he did not bet on the dogs. He did admit, however, to agreeing to the killing of 6 to 8 dogs that did not perform well in so-called testing sessions. The dogs were killed by various methods, including hanging and drowning. And, the summary states, Vick agrees and stipulates that these dogs all died as a result of the collective efforts of his co-defendants Pernell Peace, Quantas Phillips, and himself, Vick. Neither Vick nor the prosecution had anything to say about the plea deal beyond the court filings. Once the plea is entered in court Monday, a federal judge will decide whether to accept it and then set a sentencing date. A source familiar with details of the case says prosecutors will ask the judge to send the star quarterback to prison for no less than 18 months. Drew Griffin, CNN, Atlanta.
In today's interview, let's start with your name.
My name is Joe, and I'm a really big football fan.
Can you describe to me what you saw on TV?
Well, I remember I first heard about the story May 2007, and I just remember seeing about and hearing about the scandal that Michael Vick was involved in a ring of dogfighting, and then the animals were abused, and there were many dogs found, and he tried defending himself, but I guess it wouldn't really work, and the reporters were all over it, and it was everywhere I went, and I honestly couldn't believe it that such a good player would do this kind of thing.
What was your first reaction after learning about the football scandal?
Well, my first reaction was I just couldn't believe it because he was such a good player. And I mean, at first I didn't want to believe it, but I guess as the evidence showed up, I just had to believe it, and it was really kind of sad because I'm against animal cruelty, but it was just really sad, and I didn't want to believe it, but I had to.
How do you feel about this, personally?
Personally, I think that Michael Vick is wrong, and I just respect him a lot for what he did. I don't look at him the same way as I used to. I used to have a lot of respect for him because I used to watch him on TV, and I love football, and I always love watching him play. And after learning about what he did, I just couldn't look at him the same, that he would have the heart to hurt such beautiful animals and make him hurt like that. I couldn't believe that after they caught over 50 dogs, most of them needed medical attention right away, or they would die, and all the things that he did to the animals.
You said you viewed Michael Vick differently. Can you explain that more?
Well, I just couldn't believe it, and when I used to watch him at football, I thought he was such a great person, you know. I mean, he did have a lot of sponsorships, and everyone looked up to him, but after learning about the scandal, I just don't like him anymore, and I can't, even though he's a good football player, it's about his decisions, the poor decisions that he made, and I just don't like that.
Can you forgive Michael Vick for what he did?
Honestly, no, I can't, because he hurt the animals really bad, and he might have apologized and everything, but I don't think it was real, and I can't forgive him for that. Even though I still think he's a pretty good player, but I can't forgive him for what he did. That was just too much after what he did.
Alright, thank you, Joe, for being here today.
No problem.